for
This
this,
conference will now be recorded.
if you look at it at a broader scale, let's say for a leadership team, an organization providing application services, they could have big servers hosted in their network. So let's consider the organization is providing 5 application services using 5 different servers. These information will be available in my CMDB, not just the server details, all the application details also. Servers and application. What application? Let's consider Flipkart. Flipkart is a web application. That application needs to run somewhere, and that somewhere is a hardware. That hardware hosts a web server. So multiple applications can run there. So this scenario, what will happen? What is actually happening is all the server details are being maintained, all the application details are being maintained. So if one of the application, let's say, is decommissioned, then one server is actually not being used. It's there sitting idle, but there is a manpower to it. Someone needs to guard that. We need a security person. We need AC for our servers all the time. We need a support team to monitor it. We need to do maintenance. There's a lot of cost involved in it. But that server is sitting idle. And this information is available in the CMDB. So if all such information regarding a particular computer or a server are being available in the CMDB, then that is actually going to help an organization in a whole new way. So it helps the support engineer to see what is going wrong to which machine, and it helps the leadership team to see which are the servers that are being impacted in a regular manner or that is of no use. So it gives them a decision making power by seeing the reports that the CMDB is generating to let them know that, okay, this is what is happening. So I do not need the server to be there anymore. I can decommission that. Or I can assign a new set of team to develop some more applications and put it to it. Or I can load balance it. So these kind of leadership decision can be made by looking at the CMDB. So that's why every organization focuses on setting up CMDB. But for CMDB, you don't have a go live. You do have a go live, but it's an ongoing process. You keep doing it. You don't do something like, okay, it went live, I don't care anymore. It's not that way. You have to keep monitoring it. You have to keep making sure that this is being kept consistent. So if you guys are aware about change control board, so that is CCB. Similarly, we have configuration control board. So something like that should be set up in an organization. Anything that happens to the configuration item, that needs to be informed to the change control board or the configuration control board. Someone needs to be aware of what is going on. So it's an ongoing process. And quickly talking about CMDB, populating data is what is going to be an important feature when we talk about CMDB. And that is what Discovery is going to do. But let's consider an organization not having CMDB. How am I going to populate data now? So there are various things. We do a data source, a lot of things, but as part of the platform, there is some API that will allow us to do. So this is for CMDB data population. And this API has a specific term, and I can uh, straight away say that this is a best practice whenever a data needs to be populated in the CMDB. And the API name is Identification and Reconciliation API. This is the exact API all the modules in ITOM are utilizing. So when we kickstart our training, this is the first thing that we would be starting to understand about how this API works, how the data comes into CMDB, what exactly happens during that point of time are the things that we should first understand. So we should first understand CMDB and how this API works to populate data into CMDB in a consistent manner. Of course, I can do a table API. Of course, I can do a data source, Excel sheet, DB integration. A lot of things are there, but they cannot keep consistent data into CMDB. And I mean consistent, they are prone to errors, they are prone to create duplicates, they are prone to miss a lot of dependencies. That is one of the unique selling feature of ServiceNow's Discovery. ServiceNow Discovery is capable of bringing in the dependencies also, the relationship informations also. So that's why ServiceNow Discovery has that unique selling feature of it. So again, how do we measure how efficient are we keeping the data in CMDB? So we have something called CMDB view. I call it that is people call it CMDB Health Dashboard. So this dashboard is going to show me the score of how efficient my CMDB is. Base platform, we see only not applicable because these are disabled by default. We have to enable them to see the score because it takes a lot of processing power. And that's one of the reason that it is disabled by default. And what are we seeing here? This is going to be an entire scorecard. There are 3 C's to it: completeness, compliance, and correctness. So one of the things that most of the customers will be concerned about is the CMDB correctness score that we see here, because this talks about duplicates, orphans, and stale. Duplicates, by default, duplicates mean a same record of a same server existing twice or more than once is considered a duplicate. So how am I going to remediate it? So we should take care of that. And when I say orphan, orphan CIs are considered those whose dependent relationships are missing. So when I say a software is installed, software becomes a CI. But software, when it is installed, it means it is installed somewhere. If that somewhere information is missing, the software becomes an orphan. So that's what the correctness score is about. And then there is staleness. So staleness means a CI that is not discovered or updated for the last 60 days. Why? There could be some issue with the server, there could be some issue with the discovery, or some issue with the data population, or maybe the server could be decommissioned. If it is decommissioned, which means it should be set to a different status in CMDB. The status should be decommissioned or retired. So until or unless we keep or flip the status to something that it says directly that the server is not there anymore, Discovery will try to discover and it will fail to discover. And if it is failing to discover, it will fail to update the CI. If it fails to update the CI, it becomes a stale CI. So this is one of the most important reports which I would consider as I work with setting up the CMDB. The compliance and correctness scorecard, mostly if we comply with Discovery or IRE API, we should always see this somewhere around 80 to 90 percentage. And the overall scorecard, I would say if we are able to reach from 85 to 95, that's a pretty good score. If you get anything above 95, well and good. Your CMDB is in a perfect structure that you do not need to do anything more. But there is a lot of procedure involved on remediating each and every one of them. So this is about a brief introduction about CMDB and things related to it. So what I think of sharing next is as part of a demo. Probably as we touch CMDB, let's go through the flow now. So what happens when I set the CMDB correct? When we have the CMDB in an efficient way, CMDB can be populated in a lot of ways. that is Excel sheet, database integrations, or using IRE API, that is Identification and Reconciliation API. Or best practice again, ServiceNow's discovery. So by any one of the means, I populate CMDB and I keep things in a consistent way. And to measure that, I use this view, the CMDB scorecard. So this will give me a good picture about how good my CMDB is. And once I have a very good CMDB, that's when I should start with service mapping. What is service mapping? Service mapping, again, I am trying to bring an architectural view of my application, because that would help a support engineer to pinpoint what the issue exactly is. So if I consider an internet service provider, and if my internet services are down because of one of a server issue in one of the nearest uh, service center that they provide internet for, and let's say the organization has a service mapping in place, so they don't have to come here, check each and every place where the issue is. As soon as I raise an incident, they'll start doing a ping to my router. They'll get to know which place is having an issue in between. That is, there could be a big flow, but where exactly is the issue? So they'll get that. But it takes a lot of effort. Someone needs to do. Service mapping can automatically show that with the help of event management in place. So consider I have event management. After I build the service map, I have event management in place. So what this event management tool does, event management is integrated with a third-party tool that can constantly monitor any servers, any routers, anything in the network device. So that event monitoring will be monitoring this particular server that is providing the internet in a real-time basis. And I could lose internet if the server goes down. So that is the actual issue that I'm facing right now. So a server has went down and the event monitoring tool is monitoring the server in a real-time basis. As soon as the server goes down, an event will come into ServiceNow, and that event will update my service map saying that this is a server that has gone down. And I get it in an architectural view. I get to know where the issue is exactly and what are the impact, not just that server. Let's say if that server is responsible for providing cellular services also, like phone calls. So what I would know, my event management dashboard will look something like this. So all the servers that are, sorry, all the services that are being deployed in the particular server, I can see the impact. So just for an example, I'm clicking Asia Portal. So Asia Portal has a configuration item called 141. Asia Portal is a service. At the same time, there is one more service here that is called Customer Emergency. That is also using this server. So same server could host internet service, could host cellular service. But what has happened? Because of an internet down issue, the event monitoring tool has picked up that and said that internet services are down. But if I come to the dashboard, I can see that it says Asia Portal is also having that server. So I could this services could also be possibly impacted. And in the backend, what else we can do is we can create an incident automatically based on these alerts and events. So what incident I'll create? I'll create an incident saying that internet services are down, and I'll assign this assignment group to internet team, internet support team. So what will happen? So right now, let's say discovery, CMDB, discovery, service mapping, and event management are in place. And if my internet services are down, when I open up my mobile app or when I call the support team, even before I raise a ticket, I'll get a pop-up in my mobile app saying that there is already a ticket created in your name and this is the team that is working on it. So this is the kind of automation I can do in the backend because I already created an incident. That incident can be sent as a pop-up whenever a customer, that is me, who uses the services, opens up an app. So all these can be achieved at the same time. I can send an email. When I create an incident, I can actually send an email to a customer saying that this is the outage, this is the estimated time. People are working on it. So this is how the platform is built in the backend, and this is what each and every customer will expect to achieve. Because end of the day, they are a service provider. They want to satisfy their customers. And how you do it? You automate things. You make things faster. You satisfy your customer, and that is one of the reason why all these modules are being built. So each and every module here is a dependent one. If you take one module, setting them up, you can go live, but that does not ideally mean that you have achieved your end goal. Each and every module is interdependent on them. Each and everyone has their own role to play in achieving a bigger thing. So it's all interconnected. It's all dependent on each other when we talk about ITOM. And slowly what people will do after event management, they go with cloud management, they go with orchestration. So when I mean orchestration, we talked about a server being shut down. So I can run some commands to reboot the server automatically using an orchestration engine. And a lot of things happens after that because people keep going. These are a phased project implementation. Each and every module will be implemented in a phased manner. They can be done parallelly, but CMDB and discovery is going to be the first thing that you'll need to work first. Because until or unless we have a consistent CMDB, the next set of modules that we implement are going to be messier. So I'll take a quick break here. You guys want to know anything more or anything in specific? I can probably talk about it, but this is what I plan to share about things as part of a demo. So I'll take a quick break. The things in which we have seen so far, if you have any specific question, I can probably answer it in a quick 1 or 2 notes as we're just doing a demo. And maybe if there is any specific request for each and every one of you, we can place it. As we go forward, as we move to the training, we'll first get the inputs from each and every one, and probably we'll see how we can uh, mend it together in our agenda. And definitely there will be specific requests from each and every one of you that you are interested to learn this part, these specific modules. So I would recommend to go over the things, come up with your specific requests or requirements, so that when I teach about that, I'll probably try to share some more insight to it. So usually people come asking what is the basic of service mapping, how service mapping works. So as part of our agenda, we'll be looking almost the basics of all the 3 modules. That is discovery, service mapping, and event management. That should give you a pretty good idea about how we can take it further from them. It should give you a good heads up about all the 3 modules that we are going to discuss. So yeah, I'll take a pass. I'll take a quick pass here. Anybody have anything to discuss or any specific questioners, anything in specific that you'd like to discuss? The stage is all yours.
Hi Balaji. Can I actually just a in general query that I have? Actually, I'm working as a ServiceNow administrator for 2.5 years, so I was not aware of that much scripting knowledge. So may I know what the level of scripting required for ITOM module?
Okay, so in specific to ITOM, if you are focusing on CMDB, there isn't anything much apart from process that you should be aware, but there's a lot of script involved when it comes to CMDB. So in a ServiceNow rating, if you would like to answer me, it comes between beginner to intermediate. And discovery, again, everything, if you uh, try to explore ServiceNow, you can see there is already a lot of script in place. You don't have to script anything. A lot of things are out of the box. A lot of things are
Yes.
made available, so you don't have to script them. So on a average, you may need to understand the script in case if anything goes wrong. So that's the level of understanding you might need in ITOM. You are not going to build any new scripts. You are going to understand the existing scripts, and you might have to create your own custom things when it comes to any new requirements. So it is from a beginner to an intermediate, but this can be easily understood. It's not again rocket science. And since you have a very good experience in ServiceNow, that is being an admin, you should be feeling a little bit comfortable to see all these things, to navigate through, to see things, all this. But yeah, pretty much these are going to be new. And as we are seeing only basics as part of our training, we are not going to deep dive. The basics should give you a very good idea on where you can start and how you can move through these modules and learn things. So
Okay.
yes, there is scripting involved. The scripting is in an intermediate level. It's not very beginner. It's not very tough. It's in between that. And we are going to see a couple of scripts. That should be a good kickstart to have some experience using which you can explore more. Again, these
Okay.
things are going to come by practice. So either you get requirements, you get project requirements, you work on them, or you take it up as your own project. You follow the community. Community has a lot of questions on it on a daily basis. You can take up one or two and try to work on them in your own instance. I'll show you how you can set this up in your own instances, in your own local environment, so that whenever you find time, you can play around all those things.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So yeah, a lot of people could have similar questions like that. Feel free to ask any question. Do not hold back. No question is considered small. So feel free to drop me anything that you have.
Yeah, Balaji, like I have a query regarding the CMDB part. So, are we going to cover all the CMDB classes, or to some specific tables like we'll be covering up?
Okay, so to be specific, what we would be seeing or covering mostly is how CMDB is set up in a platform level. We'll probably go through the identification rules, we'll see the reconciliation rules, and we'll see how the IRE API is going to help us to populate data into CMDB. We'll quickly see the CMDB health dashboard, how that reflects our score, and we'll see how we can remediate and bring that score to a better level. So when I say remediate, probably I'll show an example on how you can remediate a duplicated CI. So these are the three things that I feel as a basic that you should know when you start working on a CMDB part. Yes, that involves a lot of classes. So probably I can take up one or two classes. We'll talk about how you populate data into a specific class. I can do that. That's not a problem.
Yeah, okay then. And one more thing, like apart from this basic level, whatever you told regarding the uh, dashboard and configuring those CMDB records, what is the next level after this? Like what all things comes into scenarios? Like after learning these all things, can you just give a brief?
Okay, when you mean all those, were you meaning only CMDB or you are meaning ITOM?
No, covering all the things like covering item.
Okay, so this basic should give you an idea on how you start. So let's say right now someone comes to you saying that he needs to implement ITOM. So where do you start first? Okay, CMDB, done. Discovery is set up. Okay, so what do I do next? I implement service mapping, done. What do I do next? Event management, done. What do I do next? So the next could be orchestration, or let's stop there. The organization does not need orchestration right now. The organization has expanded. So when they expand, those CIs needs to be captured. So they expand globally. So when they expand, we need to discover the CIs that are in the next region. So we maintain them. So as part of a developer team, so we develop, we hand it over to a steady state team, and the steady state team should take care of all those activities. So us, we would be working on stories. So we don't take up any defects. So yes, we can take up defects, but it depends. So there'll be a specific team set to that who work on it. But to be on an overview, if you see that, let's say if we are completed till event management, and if you are organizing things, if a organization expands, if they have a new application in place, we have to map that application. If an organization comes and says that they are sending a new type of alerts and events, we need to create a new event management rules. We need to set up new alert rules. And if there are, let's say, new incident, or let's say if there are new assignment groups coming into picture, and the incidents that I'm automating as part of the alert management system, I should edit that to point it out to a specific assignment group. So these things will be part of defects that come in picture or enhancement that can come later. But as a core developer, if you ask me, they will not stop with service mapping. You hand it over to a different team and you start with orchestration, or you start with cloud management. So it you keep growing, you keep completing the ITOM module in a fuller perspective, and once they reach that saturation point, you maintain them. You make sure that if something happens, you need to automate that. So when I say automate, when let's say when a duplicate happens, your system should automatically take care. So how you can take care? First, you need to know the basics. What happens when a duplicate is found? How do I do it? How do I automate those things? Is what I would uh, do if I am put in such position.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a big topic. We can debate all day. Probably will. I usually do 1 or 2 query session where we talk about all queries, relevant, irrelevant. If I know something, I'll definitely try to share. And it's a healthy session if you ask me. A lot of question comes in. I may not know answer for all, but I'll try my best to give an answer to whatever questions you have.
And one more thing, Balaji, like for the practice, where do we need to get the setup? Like, will it be provided by IT Canvas, or we need to set up the environment?
Okay, so as part of the setup, I would request each and every one of you to just have a New York instance in place, and we would be providing the environment. So that environment has a list of Windows and Linux servers. We will try to run discovery against them. We'll try to map the applications installed in them. We'll try to monitor those servers using the event management tools.
Okay.
So yes, the environment setup will be provided, but the request is a New York instance because Orlando is not supporting multiple mid servers in the same server. But we'll talk about the new features that Orlando has.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Balaji.
Okay.
So, Balaji, like you said, like initially only CMDB is set up, then only the fully project can be implemented. So, when we get the project, first is what we do is implementing CMDB and ITOM module.
Okay, let's consider an organization who has just startup. Let's say it's a startup company. So when they start up, what they should do is they should first have, let's say they want to implement ServiceNow as an management tool, be it any management, because ServiceNow can do any management. So let's consider that. And if we are setting up ServiceNow, the data will be empty. What we should do first is do all the foundation data. The users, groups, company, location, all those things will be populated. What do they do next? Service management, incident, change, problem, case, all those will be set up. And parallelly, what they should do is they should have either CMDB or asset first populated before they go live, either asset or CMDB. In between, that is, asset and CMDB are closely synced, or they are closely coupled in the platform. If you create an asset and a CA gets created. If you create a CI, an asset gets created. So as they start their organization, either one of these should be populated and kept ready, because let's say a new employee comes into the organization, the employee might need a laptop. So where will he do that? He'll go and raise a service request. He'll raise a service request. That service request, what is the workflow of the service request? It will first check if there is a laptop existing in the inventory, in the stock rooms. If it is available, that laptop will be assigned to this new employee. And when it is assigned, it needs to be first checked if there are all applications and softwares installed in it. And once all those are checked, it goes to the employee. So if you see this simple workflow that we just discussed, these data should first be made available in the system, that is in ServiceNow. And that is when you'll have a consistent CMDB. So once you have a consistent CMDB, then you start working on the next set of modules.
Okay.
Because if they are not consistent, let's say if an organization is working in region A, but when he raises the request went to region B, and region B could be 1,000 kilometers apart. How do you deliver that laptop from region B to region A? You should check the inventory in your region. So these are the initial baby setups that needs to be done before an organization starts revolving around and going live. And all these are tightly coupled with CMDB.
Okay, like ITSM and CMDB will parallelly configure, right? Normally.
I wouldn't say that way. If you ask me, how I would put that is, if you take ServiceNow, there are two base tables to it: task, CMDB. So
Yeah.
these two are part of platform. They are used in everywhere. So you don't couple that with ITSM, you don't couple that with ITOM. It is there in the platform. So it is related to everything. So that's what I talked about. Service request now. Of course, service request, and it checks the inventory. Inventory directly checks the asset. So it's not the CMDB there, it's the asset. And when the discovery is happening, it's the CMDB that's get populated. So it's a big cycle.
Okay.
It might take a while, but trust me, as long as you have some hands-on and you have a project working on with the asset, event management, ITOM and all these modules, you'll slowly get this experience. It might take some time, but you'll get there. Start with basics. I see you have some knowledge on them. I would say this training will be a good fit for you.
Okay.
Okay, so with that, I'll take my leave if there aren't any more questions for me. And I'll let the organizers know. You can reach out to the organizers probably on when and how we kickstart our training. So let's make you. I'll take off here. If you have any further questions, you can reach out to the organizers, be it timing, be it anything other than technical. You can always reach out to the organizers. They should help you out there. Anything technical, you can reach out to me. I can help you out. Okay then. So thank you so much. You've been an excellent audience. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.